Greetings, one and all. That we have reached chapter 3 of our look through the Star Wars prequels and entire Star Wars saga as a whole, as we get to the movie that ties up all the loose ends and segues into episode 4. And that movie is Revenge of the Sith. Alright, let's get started. This would be pros and cons, like the previous two reviews. Let's waste no time. Let's dig right in. Pro number 1. The opening to this movie is fun as hell. Open up with a nice big giant space battle. It is 10 times better than the previous two movies' openings, which were just generic and boring and just nothing happening of all excitement. It's just blah, 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 blah talk. This movie throws that all the way, goes back to basics. Nice giant opening with a nice giant space battle. Immediately sets the tone that this is going to be different than the last two movies, which is always a good thing. Pro number 2. E. McDermott as Palpatine / Darth Sidious is over the top awesomeness. He is just chewing up the scenery in every scene he's in. Can clearly tell the man's having a good time with what he's doing, and I love his manipulative, sneaky nature. And I love the way he was able to twist and bend Anakin's mind. Though I do have criticisms as to some things as to certain things that led Anakin towards his creation into Darth Vader. But I'll get to those momentarily. Another pro is Aaron McGregor. Once again, is amazing as Obi-Wan Kenobi. In this movie, he's a general. He's more battle scarred. He's more battle tested. And he has a lot of pretty cool fight scenes. You know, he has an entertaining fight scene with General Grievous, though to me that goes on a little too long. And he also has that awesome, epic lightsaber battle with Anakin at the Mustafar system, which is fun to watch. Which was really fun to watch. So that's all fine and good. Another pro, the Clone Wars in this movie is in full effect. It's been going on for 3 years right now. And the Clone Wars is pretty much the Galactic Republic as a way to take down the Separatists and their droid army. They created the Clone Army, and that is essentially what started the Clone Wars. Is because in order to preserve their democracy from the Separatists, they created this Clone Army to help them battle the Separatists who wants to pretty much take over the galaxy for their own needs and goals. And they have the droid army, and that's how they go at it. And episode 3 further expands upon that. And also we see the eventual formation of the Galactic Empire. Pretty much once, Palpatine is revealed as Sidious, the Emperor, the Emperor. Through some things that happen, Anakin finding out and telling Mace Windu, and Palpatine pretty much killing Mace Windu, and further manipulating Anakin to join him by having Anakin be the one to pretty much help with the final shot by chopping off Windu's hand, and Emperor just doing the kill shot. And pretty much, he pretty much gives the Order 66, which is pretty much the destruction of the Jedi Council, in which we see pretty much almost every single Jedi get exterminated by the clone troopers. And the Emperor, being so manipulative and so politically smart, he's able to spin the story as to say that the Jedi betrayed them and went against them, and that's why he had them killed, because the Jedi were going to overthrow them, and that was not going to happen. He had no choice but to go against the Jedi and to kill the Jedi. So it's like that manipulative nature as to how the Galactic Empire was formed and how he was able to manipulate everything. That, to me, was pretty cool. Another pro is Yoda gets another fight scene, and he and Sidious have a pretty cool lightsaber duel with one another. And that was fun to watch, of course. Okay, Now, we get to the cons. Once again, the love story is weak, and I don't like it. Portman and Christian, they have no chemistry whatsoever to me. Their acting is beyond subpar. I would barely classify it as direct-to-video acting because at least some direct-to-video acting, they at least try to act. These two, they don't even they're not even trying anymore. At least in two, I can give them a pass. But in this one, Portman is just going through the motions, and Christensen is just so generic with his just vocal acting that it's hard. That he's just a pain in the ass to watch. Even though I have praised him for his facial expressions and the way he's able to convey emotions with his facial expressions, but just how when he talks, the emotion is just not there. So once again, big fail. And of course, the romantic dialogue between the two is beyond atrocious and borderline elementary school level. So yeah. Another con is how Palpatine is able to manipulate Anakin. Now, if they would just stuck to the original idea where Anakin was fed up with the Jedi Council because they give him the rank of they give him a chair, but they don't give him the rank of master, and that irritates him, pisses him off. And if they would have stuck with that and have the Emperor twist all that in Anakin's head, and to make it realize that the Jedi Council, they don't respect you, they don't want you. Why be with people who don't want you when you can be with me, someone who does want you and will train you and will give you whatever you want? If they would have stick with that, that would have been great. But then they added in this whole plot where Anakin's having visions of Padme dying, and the Emperor is going to teach him how to control death. And to me, that was just, you could tell that was just shoved in, and it was really hard. And I don't know, to me, it was just shoved in, and it was like, really hard to try and justify that. Because to me, you're having that work in a relationship from the get-go that wasn't really all that intriguing or interesting to begin with. And now you're throwing in this whole controlled death shit, which just pretty much makes his turn, I don't know, just confusing, because it would have been better if they would have just stuck with the whole idea of the council just being against him and the Emperor using that to his advantage to further turn Anakin, instead of adding in this whole controlled death crap. Yeah, that's a big fail in my book. Another con is, what's another con? I'm trying to think, because unlike the other two movies, Episode 3, despite the cons that I do have, it didn't really bother me as much, because I overall liked this movie over the last two, and I think it's far superior than the last one. I think it doesn't get enough credit as I think it should be for being an actual, decent movie that brings back the spirit of Star Wars. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that then. I stand by my pros. I stand by my cons. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give this movie, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. A notch better than Attack of the Clones, and light years better than Phantom Menace. And whether it's good or not, it did it in a sloppy way. It tied up the loose ends, and it maybe it was a little sloppy in getting to that New Hope connection, but it is what it is, and you can't fight City Hall, so you just gotta deal with it. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Revenge of the Sith. 7.5 out of 10. Like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, whenever you're fighting Darth Vader, always make sure to have the higher ground.